Good morning, boys and girls. Today is February 18th, and this is your science lesson. Now, you guys have been talking about weathering, erosion, deposition, basically slow earth changes over the past couple of weeks. So, today we're going to kind of switch gears a little bit, and we're going to be talking about a little bit about land features, and specifically about a unique type of map that we're going to be studying over the next couple of days. Now, to start this off and to introduce this, I'm going to be drawing some pictures on this paint program on my computer. Now, I want you to be thinking about, as I draw them, I want you to be thinking about what is the main difference. Now, these are basic land features. Okay, so for instance, I might have some plains, just regular plains, flat land. I also might have some, look at those hills, right? Sprawling hills. And then I also might have, you also might notice in the United States, we might have something like, it's kind of like a fire, but it's mountains, right? So we might have some mountains, and then there also might be a feature if you go out west, you might notice something like this, where it kind of really flat top, then all of a sudden it just drops off really fast, maybe a long way, and then it goes down. Okay. Now these are all basic types of land features. You might call these flat lands or plains. These are called hills. These are mountains. This is what we call a plateau. You can even call it a mesa or a butte. But basically, what I want you to be thinking about right now is their differences. Oh, I forgot one. So there might be a space. Let's say this mountain and this plateau are connected here, and I want you to refer to maybe this space here, right? This low point. You could also refer to these spaces up here in these hills as the same name that we're about to talk about. Now, these low points in the middle of some high points, those are called valleys, right? Those are low points. Okay. Now, I want you to be thinking about this. What is the main difference? Or what is the difference between all of these land features? What do you guys see as the differences? Now, if you said, or if you pointed out, well, there's changes in height, you'd be correct, right? They're all different heights, right? We just have kind of regular flat land here. Hills change heights, right? A mountain is very tall compared to the valley down below, and then we have a plateau, which also is typically very tall compared to what it is standing over, or what it is rising above. Now, what we call these changes in elevation. Okay, this is a change in elevation. When you have a change in height of a land feature, that is called a change in elevation, right? You might have heard elevation when referring to maybe like planes or something, right? They fly up to a certain elevation and they kind of cruise at that elevation. Right? And it's just referring to how high it's getting. And that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about how high a land feature is or how low a land feature is. Now, we always compare the height of a land feature to the sea level. Okay, so the level at where the sea is, and the sea is always at 0. And so we measure everything else from that point up, right? So we might say this mountain could be, let's call it 10,000 feet above sea level. Okay, and this plateau might be 8,000 feet above sea level. That's its elevation. That's how tall it is. Okay. This flat land here, it just might be a little bit taller than sea level. We might call it 300 feet. Okay. But all of these land features, these basic land features, have a height, and we compare it to where it is sea level. Some land features could even be below sea level. Like this valley might, if we compare it to where the sea is at, this might be a negative 100 feet below sea level. That means it's 100 feet below where the sea is currently at. Okay. Now, the reason why it's not filling up with water is because it's not next to the sea. But there could be a case where some land features are measured below sea level. Okay. So that's just kind of a basic understanding of basic landforms and how we talk about their elevation, how we talk about their height. Now, that unique map that I was talking about at the very beginning of class, that is called a topographic map or topographic. I've always said topographic, but topographic just means a rough shape, okay? Or referring to something's shape. Now, I have the exact definition here. I'm going to pull it up real quick. Topography or topographic is a term used to describe the shape or roughness of a surface, okay? You also might hear this called a relief. Okay, when you might hear something referred to as a relief. The relief is basically that same idea. Okay, it describes or it's talking about how rough or the shape of an object. Now, I'm going to show you a map here. Let me pull this one up. This is a map of the United States. Now, this isn't referred to as a topographic map, but it is a relief map. Okay, it is a relief map. It is showing the rough shape of the United States. And here you can see there's a mountain range out west. There's even the Appalachian Mountains right here towards the east coast. And then you see just some, regular green lands. There's some little, what I would call these probably are rivers where they're kind of swirling into some plains here and kind of going up there too. So, but it's showing you that here's just kind of the rough shape of what the United States looks like. Not shape as in the outline, but more how tall different features are, right? So you can see that these are kind of sticking up. These would be the mountains, right? And there's some mountains over here too. They're sticking up. Now, when we talk about a topographic map, you might not see a topographic relief map of the United States. Now, this is a relief map. It's just showing you the shape of things. But when we're talking about a topographic map, we're more so talking, excuse me. Oh, I didn't pull one up. I'm sorry. Let me pull one up real quick. Topographic map. When we're talking about a topographic map, we're talking about more often a zoom in of an area and talking about the height differences in an area. So let me just show you real quick. Any of these are great. So just this one, for example. This is a good example of a topographic map. Okay. Now you might look at that and say, "Whoa, what the heck is going on there? That's looking crazy, Mr. B." Well, in tomorrow's lesson and the lessons following that, we're going to get into more detail about what do all these squiggly lines mean. Maybe some of these numbers on here, what do they mean, and really how to read a topographic map. That's going to be in later lessons. Today, I'm just introducing to you what it is and why we use it. Okay, and that's what we're going to talk about now. Why we use a topographic relief map. We want to talk about the amount that the topography or the shape of the land changes within a particular area. Okay, so how does the land change, the height change in a particular area? So another way to look at it was this. What's the difference between, the highest and lowest points in a given area? And that's what this map is doing. Okay, it's showing you that one area is taller than another area, or one area is lower than another area. Okay, and we're going to get into how that is and what that looks like specifically later on. But today, what I want you to understand and grasp is this. Okay, a topographic map shows the changes in elevation, which is the changes in height, right? How tall or short something is in an area. Okay, so the differences in height and land features within a given area. And I want you to pay attention to this little bit right here because this is going to be important for your exit slip today. Okay, so that's what we're going to focus on right now, our exit slip. So if you want to go to Google Classroom, you can open that up. You can pause this video if you want to. You're going to answer this question. There's really two questions, but you can answer it in one or two sentences, in the same sentence or so. It says, why do people use topographic maps and what purpose do these maps serve? Well, we just talked about that, okay? The purpose is they show us the elevation changes in landforms in an area, right? So we can't really look at a topographic map of the United States, but we might be able to zoom in maybe on Colorado or maybe a town in Colorado and look at the mountains there, and we can talk about how high one area is compared to another area. Okay, so why do people use this? What purpose do they serve? Well, they're looking for elevation changes, the height differences in land features. Okay, so that's the purpose that these maps serve. That's why people use them. Okay, so I want you to go in Google Classroom today. Go to the exit slip for today. It might be called Science Exit Slip 2.18 or something like that. And I want you to answer these questions. Okay, give me a good 1 to 2 sentence response. Complete sentence. Don't forget capitalization and punctuation. All right, you guys get started on that. I hope you all have a fantastic rest of the day. We will see you in just a little bit for math. All right, guys, see you later.